All right, back here with Captain Marty. We're going to hear another one of his great stories. And Captain, one thing I've always wondered about fishing back in the days of old Oregon Inlet, I guess we can call it, I don't know, but back in like the 70s and whatnot, when you were back there, were there any sort of like ritualistic things that y'all would do for like any like crew members or mates or captains or anything like that?
Well, we would throw mates overboard every spring when they caught their first blue marlin, and that was done by a group of guys called the Creekin Committee. Stay right where you're sitting. I'll come right back and tell you who was on the Creekin Committee and what their job was when I come back.
Hi, I'm LB Daniels, and when you want great local seafood, you go to Fresh Cat Seafood in Wanchese. How do I know it's great? My daddy is one of the fishermen that brings it to the docks. At Fresh Cat Seafood, you will get local seafood right from their fish house. They are a family-owned business that knows the name of every fisherman that comes to their docks. Visit their social media pages to see the latest catches. My daddy would love to put his tuna on your dinner plate, so get it now from Fresh Catch Seafood in Wanchese.
Are you ready for a fishing thrill like no other?
Oh, there he is! There he is! Oh, got him up!
As seen on Wicked Tuna Outer Banks, the Carolina Girl, captained by majestic Jesse Anderson, is a custom, luxurious 53-foot Jarrett Bay built boat running out of Hatteras Harbor Marina. Let Jesse and her crew give you a fishing experience of a lifetime. To book a trip, go online to CarolinaGirlSportFishing.com. Carolina Girl Sport Fishing, your offshore adventure awaits. So the Creekin Committee was named because the Oregon Inlet Fishing Center basin was a creek at one time. And so that's where that word came from. Now all marina basins are called the creek, you know. Mm-hmm. The creek was where if you were a mate, mostly the mates, but sometimes the captains, and every year when you caught your first blue marlin, the Creekin Committee would come and get you, drag you. There was no way of escaping. You couldn't hide. You couldn't run. Why? You couldn't hide and couldn't run because the Creekin Committee was made up of the four biggest, most athletic mates in the fleet. Mm-hmm. And it was just like a football team. We had one guy for speed, one guy or two guys for brawn, you know, for strength.
Right.
And then one guy for logistics. He was the brains of the outfit.
Okay.
But it was four people. And so most everybody has two arms and two legs. All right. So Dickie Harris, Captain Dickie, had caught a blue marlin as the mate on the Sportsman with Omi Tillett. So that afternoon, it was storming or something. We didn't creek him. And the next day was a blow day. So, you know, we said, we're all standing on the dock at daylight and said, you know what? We got to creek Dickie. We never got him last night. And Dickie is on the Creekin Committee.
Oh,
that
Lord.
did not exempt you from getting creeked. So he knew he escaped and left the marina the night before, like really early.
Uh-huh.
But the next morning, he was full of breakfast there at the restaurant. He come prancing around by the headboat, and we were all laying in, hiding behind garbage cans. The only problem was, because he was a member, it was myself, John Bayless, and Bull Tolson were the only three available that morning. We couldn't find a fourth person. We thought, we'll get him. And I think he's 6'3", 250, and real athletic. But
okay.
It'll be a challenge. Now, we're right up there in the corner of the marina where there's concrete walk bricks, there's parking stops, there's pylons.
Uh-huh.
Right up there by where the headboat used to tie up. Here he came. We jumped out there like a bunch of Native Americans coming out from behind the rocks for the mountain men. We pounced on him. I grabbed the leg, and John grabbed the arm, and Bull grabbed the arm. That left one leg unattached. So I had the leg in, and we started scrapping, and we scrapped, rolling on the dock, hitting the bricks, getting skin up and everything. He was putting up a fight, which was what you did, because the harder you fought, the more your reputation got built up, like you'll never creek him.
Right, uh-huh.
So anyway, we were about to get wore out. Now, Bull Tolson and John, they're strong dudes.
Yes.
Anyway, we were about to get wore out, and I was thinking, if you didn't creek him, the embarrassment would have been horrible. Anyway, we had to do something, but you know what? Something took care of itself. I'll tell you what that was when I come back.
Teach's Lair Marina in Hatteras Village is the closest spot on the Outer Banks to the Gulf Stream. Just inside Hatteras Inlet, Teach's Lair is fully loaded with bait, tackle, ice, snacks, and drinks for your fun-filled day out on the water. Want to get rigged up to catch the big one? Lee and the gang in the tackle shop can outfit you to catch whatever is eager to get hooked. To see the marina, the tackle shop, or to book a charter, go online to teacheslair.com. Teaches Lair Marina in Hatteras Village. Your fishing venture awaits.
Okay, so anyway, the fight is on at 6:30 in the morning. Elbows are bleeding. Lord. Splinters in your leg and roll around on that dock. We didn't know what we were going to do. All of a sudden, up towards the highway, coming down into the parking lot, was an old white Ford flatbed dually. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Tandem rear wheels, no bed, just a plywood or a plank flatbed truck, dually, old truck. Comes rumbling down and rumbles right up to us. Now, nobody else. There's no other mates around, nothing.
Okay.
And this guy gets out of this truck, and he's seeing what's going on. And we're thinking, he thinks we're beating this guy up or something. But instead, he just runs over there and grabbed the spare leg, the one that we had spare.
No.
None of us knew who he was. And with his help, this guy was a football player, you'll soon find out. We grabbed him and got the old 1, 2, 3. And let me tell you something. When you're being creeked, if they get to 2, the best thing you can do is quit fighting.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to fight them on 3, or you're going to get your head bashed against the piling or the dock.
Yeah.
Once they get you to that point, give it up and let them swing you clear of the dock. This guy piled on there, and boom, 1, 2, 3, and the end Dickie went, and he was not happy. And anyway, when that happened, this guy, he was wearing some old white, like a white colored blue jeans, like tan colored, and an old fishing t-shirt. He had on a khaki hat, and we knew he was some kind of fisherman, some kind of mate. He's probably 20 years old. He puts out his hand and says, "My name's Dave Ratke." He just knew he was from Palm Beach, South Florida. He'd driven all night long, coming like I did to put in his time on the dock at Oregon Inlet or Hatteras and find a job for the summer. The first thing he saw after driving all night when he drove in there at daylight was 3 guys, and he knew what they were doing. He said, they're trying to creek get that guy, just like we do in Florida. He came over there, and he was the guy that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So anyway, we got Dickie, and keep in mind, I mentioned and we did bounce a few people off the pilings, but mainly it was splinters and skinned up arms and legs. But he was immediately an honorary Creekin Committee member, and Dickie got very puffed up about that an outsider from Florida, because Dickie was beating us. We weren't going to get him over. And this outsider from Florida came and was all it took. And for 20 years, Dickie never forgot that. And let me just tell you this. You could pay a contract Creekin. A 6-pack of beer would get anybody in the marina thrown overboard that you wanted to the Creekin Committee. And Dickie would give the Creekin Committee a 6-pack to throw Dave Ratke overboard any chance he could. And I'll keep in mind, another story for another day is how he got his nickname, which was Fog Bank. But that is another story for another day.